I'll add 2 inches.
You know, Joe, I can't help but notice that the HGH has made your internal organs swell to the point where your abs stick out further than your pecs. What's up with that? It's not a human look. It's not a human look you got going on there, Joe. Your head. What the fuck is wrong with your head?
Did anyone ever say that to him?
No.
Oh, because you're doing a Bill Burr impression. I'm like, did this happen?
Bill Burr would be perfect to say these things.
What the fuck happened to you?
You're a monster.
Look at you and how was your head grown twice the size since you left news radio? That was the late 90s. You were an adult.
His hair's gone and his head volume's even bigger.
Yeah.
It makes no sense scientifically speaking. If that transformation happened in a Marvel movie and nobody said anything about it, you'd be like, come on, the CEO of the company's head suddenly starts getting big and nobody realizes that their boss is Brainiac. Of course it's Brainiac.
I got a thing, though. I think Joe Rogan is smarter than he was in the news radio day, which ties into my head-sized intelligence theory.
And that's been proven many times. There's this well-respected field of phrenology. Dude, that would have been the best way to be a scientist in olden days. You just take a bunch of skulls and you got like a whatever. What the
head
fuck
scratcher?
Is that thing?
It looks like a big caliper.
Yeah, it's a caliper where you're like, this guy was a rapist. It's like, well, you know, I'm no doctor, so I take his word for it. Yeah, being a doctor gets more and more fun, I think, the further back in time you get.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
At some point, you're just making shit up as you go along. You're just like the guy with the cleanest hands.
Yeah, you're just the guy with the cleanest hands.
Someone's got to pull it out of Matumbo. What about Billy? His hands are very clean.
And he is a very good doctor.
Yeah,
wash your hands in the goat piss and then come over here. Yeah. 3,000 years ago, being a doctor, that would have been pretty sick.
Yeah, I was watching this. Rogan had this guest recently who was talking about the pygmies in Africa or some shit, and how like it's like that thing we always joke about for some reason, where the, you know, you're always like talking about how they want to crack open the white man's skull to cure the AIDS or get the gold out or some shit.
Yeah.
They were literally holding this little boy down and cutting him and bleeding him because they wanted to drink his blood to cure their AIDS.
Was he albino?
Did it work?
He was black. He was just a pygmy. You know, they're the little folk. And they were raping all the women, just raping the churches, burning the women, just going ham.
Why were they doing this?
To get rid of
cure
AIDS.
Their AIDS.
Okay.
No, it's a real thing. Like,
I don't think that's a real thing.
It doesn't work, but it's a real thing they try.
I thought that's the angle we were about to say.
No, it's a real thing.
All right, I'll back you up, Taylor, but I don't think he's going to bite.
We all know the cure is to inject yourself with $200,000 cash, as in South Park. But like, yeah, it's a real thing that like being born albino in some of those areas in Africa, the roughest spot in life because you are going to get fucked with. Like people,
even if they don't fuck with you, you're in Africa, and you have no, what is it? Melatonin, melanin. Yeah, melatonin's that other stuff.
Yeah,
helps you sleep.
Yeah, well, they say it does, but I don't think that's true. I think research showed that it was the sodium and the fat or something like that from the turkey. I bought my Thanksgiving turkey. We'll get to that later, though.
You think of tryptophan? That's
fucking tryptophan. There's way too much for us to keep track of these days.
That I agree with.
Those people are roasting under the sun. Imagine like I get sunburned pretty badly. I've got kind of fair skin. Taylor's even more fair than I am, and but like someone like Bill Burr who's like a ginger, like he's the worst of the worst until you see that albino African boy just hiding in a hut. Suddenly go down.
You're right. I never thought about that. That sucks.
People think of me as, you know, maybe not as white as I really am because I get a lot of sun in the summer. But I'm not a ginger. I'm a ginger factory, right? I'm a ginger producer and actually quite fair-skinned.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of factory I am yet. So we'll see.
I'm closed for repairs. Shit is not happening.
The day you die.
Did you get a vasectomy? Is that what I'm? Maybe you
I plan to. I absolutely plan to. Like I don't see.
Don't do that. Roll the dice, bitch.
Be a man, Kyle. See what happens.
Yeah.
No
Roll the
children.
dice, bitch. That's solid life advice.
Xbox Live taught me long ago that I do not want a child. And I have made fun of far too many younglings with disabilities to roll those dice. If there is a god or
There's
karma,
yeah, they're gonna get you.
then I am going to spawn a mutant with fucking octopus arms and an 83 IQ, and it's not going to go well.
On the
I just have a
previous topic,
stereotypical Asian. Yeah,
if you're a black albino person, what are you?
well, you're still African. Yeah.
I didn't
Racially,
ask where you're
or-
from. I asked,
Well, no, but like your ethnicity would be African or whatever. Like, yeah, you'd still
wait,
be African.
American's not it. Like that's a geography, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
No,
African
it's,
American is geography. thing.
No, nationality is what you're thinking of. Ethnicity is like race, right?
No. Because Africa is a continent, not a nation. It's African American is a geography thing. It's a distinction of geography.
Yeah, I think you can
and
be African
residents.
and white, as such as South African.
There you go, like Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett
might be right.
Johannesburg. Yeah, because that's the South
Nailed
Africa.
it. That's
I
where
think you
she's
left
from.
out a syllable, Kyle. There's two hands in there, but
Johansson.
Well, I mean, like they would still carry an African with albinism, however you say it, would still. I guess they'd be more likely to have a child that's albino, but most likely the child would be black, right? Or no?
I
don't
just why
know.
I just straight up want to know what a black albino is. Is that a white person?
Well, no, it's not a European person. It's a black person with a skin.
Yeah, all right. Yes, that is a white person because they are
color,
white,
yes.
but that is
And
not
they
a
don't
Caucasian.
have.
Yes, they're not Caucasian. Thank you,
melanin.
Kyle. That's the way to say it.
I believe the scientific word starts with an N,
But it ends with an
I'm not-
O.
It ends with an O.
But I don't
A
want to
hard
get
O.
close to it.
It's too close.
We're gonna
Too
call
close.
them
Not that in this
brothos.
climate.
A brother.
It's the safe angle. I think.
Man, we are all coming off as ignorant.
Yeah, how did that happen?
That's never happened once. Not once in this whole show. But yeah, I don't know. But the same way that like if you have a genetic defect, you're more likely to pass it on. But or no, I guess it depends on the genetic defect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like almost guaranteed to pass it on, and then other times like you can like have a totally normal kid as long as
Yeah.
the other
Yeah,
person doesn't
I don't know
carry it.
how that works. Like, could you have like there's some in utero things that can happen to you, right? You know, like a little cut off the brain blood flow for a moment or something, and you won't pass that on, I think.
No, you won't pass that on.
Let me just Google how do albinos work?
We're talking about recessive and dominant traits, and
Right.
and whether or not things are likely or are not so likely to be passed on to your offspring. It also depends on what your partner's like, what their genetics are like, because sometimes like you're fine as long as your partner doesn't have the same recessive trait as you, but if both of you have it, then your child is definitely going to have like octopus arms or whatever the fuck. Like there's all sorts of stuff with genetics. That's why you should always get the person that you're going to have these little mutant babies with checked out.
Right, to make sure that she's
You think I already
Compatible.
yes, yeah,
Genetically
So
compatible.
how did you do it? Did she volunteer? Or did you steal a glass she drank from?
I held her down and cut her hair. Then yeah.
You got to pull her hair. Get the roots. That's where the good DNA is.
Is that
That's true.
disease like vitiligo?
Vitiligo.
Vitiligo.
Is
It's
that-
I
Is
ain't
that
black.
like late
This is reverse
months?
vitiligo.
This is reverse vitiligo. It's such a- oh,
Dude,
Boondocks
there's
is
an
so funny.
we've talked about him before, but there's an MMA fighter who had vitiligo, and he pretty much turned white. Like you would think that he was a white guy at this point.
Yeah.
It turns out that vitiligo is accelerated by like rubbing on that area, right? So you as a normal person, you might get white like in your armpits, around your neck, maybe between your legs
Your
first,
hands.
right? Hands, right? Things that move a lot. But him as a grappler, like his whole body's being just dragged across the mat daily. That's part
You know
of
what
it.
I don't like?
So he turned white.
I don't like whenever they take a picture of somebody who's got vitiligo and they're like, she's beautiful. And it's just like, why can't we all admit when someone is unattractive or when something is wrong with them that is not appealing to the eye?
I'm only
I see
halfway
that
with
more
you.
fat people.
I think
Yeah.
that a really like structurally beautiful person with vitiligo can still be beautiful. Like if you
Agreed.
applied vitiligo to I don't know, I'm bringing up Emma Watson. I talked about her earlier. I think she'd still be beautiful.
But But a
I don't
morbidly
know.
obese person with vitiligo.
You just take a really fit chick, nice happy trail, vitiligo or not. We all agree she's rocking.
The hair turned white too.
See, that whole body acceptance movement should be for people with like vitiligo, a missing leg from Afghanistan, a burn victim, an acid attack victim, but it has been entirely co-opted by
Appetite discipline disorder.
Yeah, I just can't stop eating. Yeah, so that's a shame. Like someone out there with like burns on their leg and their face is, getting shut down because they have thin privilege or something. It's kind of funny.
I'd like to think that there's some poor person with burns on their face. Like, what are you worried about, skinny?
Yeah. Fuck. What are you talking about? You can probably eat whatever you want.
Not really. It's hard to chew.
He's sitting there like, actually, every day is a struggle.
What I'd give to be 85 pounds like you privileged cunt. I don't have any legs.
Yeah.